Hi, this is Movie Crank, and today we're gonna talk about Yellowstone Season 5B, Episode 13. This week's episode is filled to the brim with cowboy stuff. There isn't much besides it, and it's a test if you really are that much into the lifestyle. I'm gonna give you a short synopsis of the episode's plot, and then I'll let you know what I think of it. Beth travels to Texas to ask Travis for help selling the horses. Later on, Teeter, Ryan, and the other wranglers return to Montana. At the same time, Jamie is made a suspect on TV in his father's murder investigation. He panics and goes to his child's mother for advice. Back at the ranch, the Wranglers orchestrate a festival around the auction, selling all the horses and cattle. Out of sympathy, Beth takes Teeter out for a drink, trying to distract her. After the sale, Casey comes up with a loophole which might save the ranch for future generations. In the beginning of the episode, Rip and Beth are scheming how to sell the horses for the best price possible. Last episode, it was established that they sell the livestock instead of the land to come up with the funds for the inheritance tax. Beth wants to ask Travis for help to sell the horses for the highest price, so she travels to Texas to plead with him at Bosk Ranch. To her surprise, Travis' place looks like Charlie Sheen was running it.
He turned my business into a brothel. I thought you'd be proud of me.
Instead of doing horse twirlies, this time Travis is busy playing strip poker with some barrel racers. After a lot of douchebag scenes, Beth asks Travis to showcase the horses for potential buyers at the Dutton Ranch. In exchange, he asks her to play strip poker for it, but it turns out he only teases her and agrees without going too far. Man, I don't know what's going on with Sheridan. He really has a weird way of showing off.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
Somehow he plays the biggest prick in the series, but the writing is totally self-conscious about it, which is weird, but at least it's funny, so I'll give it a pass. Meanwhile, Teeter, Ryan, and the other Wranglers return to Montana from Texas. Lloyd saved Colby's head for Teeter, and she still struggles with Colby's death a lot. The preparations for the auctions are in full effect, and the Wranglers worry about their jobs. Rip promises, though, to keep Lloyd employed, since he spent most of his life on the ranch. They scheme to build it back once the financial dilemmas are taken care of. I was wondering if they keep this plotline for a spin-off down the road. It sure seems like the stories of Rip and Beth, and some of others aren't told yet. And there's always more stories where the cash is rolling in.
God willing, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2 to search for more money.
We switch to Jamie, who's a mess since Sarah was killed. The police found new evidence and links him to his father's murder. As a last resort, he swings by the house of his former campaign manager / mother of his child for advice. She tells him to turn the tables around and blame everything on Sarah Atwood and use his father's good name in order to become governor. Well, I completely forgot about her. Her approach is good, but it will be hard to redirect the news of his involvement into him following his father's footsteps. I also think he might run into trouble with Beth and the backlash of the voters when they regain their short-time memory. I have a feeling he won't make it out of the season, but I guess we'll see. Back at the ranch, the festivities are in full effect, and the buyers show up in droves. Everybody's keeping it together, only Teeter is falling behind, mourning for Colby. Beth feels bad for her and takes her out to humiliate coastal playboys at a tourist bar. She tells her that this is the way she lets steam off. I didn't know that was an actual hobby of hers. Now it makes sense that it was shown multiple times throughout the series. Well, for one, it will never not be funny watching Beth dismantle some jerks who got it coming. A Beth tornado for their trailer park minds. After the bar visit, Beth and Teeter return to the ranch. The auction is coming to an end, and the lives of John Dutton and Colby Mayfield are honored. It's a nice touch, and it lets you feel the gravity of the burden their passing leaves with their loved ones and the ones who worked with them. Around that time, Casey also gets confirmation that his father's body is released from the coroners and ready for burial. In a big gesture, Monica declares that she will take it upon her to return the body back to the ranch. I gotta say I like what Sheridan did with Monica and Beth this season. They matured quite a lot, and I gained respect for them. Good call. After the auction and the concert with dancing, the mood drops. All the livestock is sold, and the ranch feels weirdly empty. Rip and Beth calculate that their earnings cover the debts for a year, buying them time. Casey, who also helped at the auction, comes up with a new idea. The ranch and its expenses are too costly to inherit, but what if the ranch gets sold for a ridiculous price, and instead of worrying about inheritance tax, they only have to cover a sales tax, which will also shrink. That would make sense. But what still confuses me is how this makes the ranch profitable in the future. They still need to come up with a way to handle this problem, but I guess they pick one fire at a time. So with a glimmer of hope, we leave this penultimate episode. I know this is probably gonna be controversial, but I like this episode. Sure, Taylor Sheridan's character, or does he just play an exaggerated version of himself? Well, anyways, is a douchebag, but is well recognized in this show. And guess what? There's plenty of douchebags in this world. And in contrast to fairy tales, douchebags can be very successful and resourceful. So it's a hard pill to swallow when you need sad douchebags' help. And that's exactly what Beth needs this episode. On another note, I feel that Jamie should have got more screen time. Depending on whether he dangles from a rope next episode or actually makes it out alive, I would have preferred to get more focus on him. But I guess we'll see about that on the last episode of Yellowstone so far. So tune in next week and hear my thoughts about the possible series finale. Thank you for staying this long till the end of this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon so you'll know when I crank out another video. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.